There are films that entertain, and then there are films that awaken. In 1933, a single reel of celluloid ignited the greatest moral storm early cinema had ever known. Ecstasy, a film made in the quiet hills of Czechoslovakia by a director who believed that cinema could touch the soul without words. But the world didn't see it that way. The world saw scandal, shame, and sin. Yet beneath the bands, beneath the whispers, was a story that changed film forever. The story of a young woman, a daring director, and the birth of something far greater than controversy: honesty. Gustav Machaty wasn't trying to provoke. He was chasing truth. At a time when films were still shy, careful not to show too much, not to feel too deeply, he wanted to capture something almost sacred. The moment when human emotion becomes visible on skin. His camera didn't leer, it lingered. It didn't intrude, it observed. Every frame of Ecstasy moved like a dream, like the trembling heartbeat of someone discovering themselves for the first time. And at the center of it all was a face, luminous, fragile, unforgettable. Hedy Kiesler, just 18 years old. Her beauty would later make her one of Hollywood's icons, under a new name, Hedy Lamarr. But before she was a star, before she was an inventor, before the world knew her voice, she was a girl on a European film set, standing in front of a camera that would immortalize her forever. What she did in that film, or rather, what Machaty captured, would echo through history as both liberation and curse. Emil, a fastidious and orderly older man, carries his happy new bride, Eva, over the threshold of their home. He has great difficulty opening the lock on the front door, trying key after key. She is greatly disappointed on their wedding night because he does not even come to bed. He has pinched his finger in the clasp of Eva's pearls when he attempts to remove them. He is unable to consummate their marriage due to the minor injury on his finger. Emil continues to ignore Eva for many days, often retreating behind his newspaper. Eva refuses to live in a loveless marriage. She can no longer bear to be Emil's wife in name only, and returns to the estate of her father, a wealthy horse breeder. Eva seeks and is granted a divorce from Emil. One day, Eva goes horseback riding in the countryside surrounding her father's estate. She has a swim in the nude, leaving her clothes on her horse, which wanders off to find a stallion locked in a nearby corral. Eva, still completely naked, chases after her horse. Adam, a virile, young engineer working in road construction in that area, happens to look up and see Eva trying to catch her horse. Finally, Adam is able to catch the runaway horse. Eva is so embarrassed that she hides in the bushes when Adam approaches her. At first, Eva is ashamed of her nudity, but then she glares up at him in defiance. He hands Eva her clothes. When she tries to leave, she hurts her ankle. At first, she resists Adam's efforts to help, then acquiesces. That night, Eva's restless and cannot stop thinking about Adam. Finally, she goes to his isolated residence, which is located near the field where they met. After some hesitation, they embrace and spend the night together. In the throes of passion, Eva's pearl necklace is broken and falls to the floor. She forgets to take it with her the next morning, but the young lovers promise to meet in town at the local hotel the following evening. When Eva returns home the next morning, she finds an unwelcome visitor. Her ex-husband, Emil, has been waiting for her all night. He wants to reconcile with her, but she tells him that it is too late. Broken-hearted, he leaves. By chance, while driving away, Emil encounters Adam on the road, and Adam asks for a ride into town. Emil agrees. They stop at Adam's residence in order to pack his suitcase. While packing, Adam notices Eva's pearls on the floor. He takes them along, intending to return them to her. While traveling to town, Emil notices Adam admiring the pearl necklace and instantly recognizes it as that belonging to his ex-wife. Emil becomes jealous and enraged. Adam has no idea that Emil had been married to Eva. In his anger, Emil considers driving into an approaching train at a crossing, but at the last moment thinks better of it. That night, Emil sits alone in a hotel room while a fly tries futilely to get out through a closed window, and several others are shown trapped in flypaper. Meanwhile, downstairs, Adam is arranging flowers as he waits in the hotel restaurant for his lover, Eva, to arrive. The young lovers are very happy to be reunited. While they are drinking champagne and dancing, they suddenly hear a gunshot. Emil has shot himself. Everyone in the hotel runs to the door of Emil's room. Adam still does not know of the connection between Emil and Eva. She is deeply saddened by the suicide of Emil. However, she does not divulge her relationship with Emil to anyone, including Adam. The young couple were to take the train to Berlin later that evening and begin their new life together. While waiting at the train station, Adam falls asleep. A distraught Eva slips quietly away while Adam sleeps and leaves on a different train. Later, he returns to his work in construction and daydreams of Eva, imagining her happily holding his baby. But in 1933, such honesty was unforgivable. The censors came quickly. Governments condemned the film. Religious leaders called it filth. In America, customs agents seized prints of Ecstasy at the border. In Germany, it was banned outright. The Vatican denounced it. In many countries, screenings were raided, projectors shut down mid-reel. The headlines called it the most immoral picture ever made. They didn't just ban a movie, they buried an idea. And for Hedy Kiesler, that burial came at a cost. Overnight, she became infamous, the girl from Ecstasy. Every door she walked through carried whispers. Every opportunity came with judgment. Yet beneath the scandal, something remarkable happened. Hollywood called. They wanted that face, that presence, the same energy that had frightened Europe. She took a boat to America, changed her name, and stepped into a new life. Hedy Lamarr was born, but she wasn't just a face. While studios sold her as the most beautiful woman in the world, she was working behind the scenes, inventing communication technologies that would one day become the foundation for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. The woman who had once been condemned for showing too much skin was now creating the invisible systems that connect the modern world. There's a strange poetry in that, how the same mind that captured the body's freedom on screen also dreamed of freeing the airwaves from control. For decades, Ecstasy remained locked away in archives, viewed as a relic of shame. But time has a way of softening outrage. When scholars and critics revisited the film in the 1960s and 70s, they saw something no one had dared to before. They saw beauty, not titillation. They saw a director who understood intimacy, not as spectacle, but as soul. They saw the first cinematic depiction of female desire told with empathy. In its silence, Ecstasy spoke volumes. There was no need for dialogue. The close-ups, the pacing, the light, all told a story that Hollywood, even decades later, would struggle to express. The scene that once shocked the world, the one of Eva's quiet climax, shown only through her face and nature around her, was no longer obscene. It was art. The sound of a train, the rustling of trees, the rhythm of breath. Machaty had created a symphony of sensation, and in that symphony, he had written the language of modern erotic cinema before the world even knew what that was. The irony is haunting. What was banned for being too human is now celebrated for its humanity. What was condemned for showing too much now feels restrained, elegant, almost innocent. Ecstasy predicted a future where cinema would dare to explore the spaces between morality and emotion, where directors like Bergman, Truffaut, and Noé would follow in its shadow. For Hedy, though, Ecstasy was both gift and ghost. She rarely spoke of it. When asked, she'd smile politely, brush it aside, as if it belonged to another lifetime. And perhaps it did. That film was the beginning of her fame, her struggle, her reinvention. Without Ecstasy, there would be no Hedy Lamarr as the world knows her. Yet because of Ecstasy, she spent years outrunning a scandal she never meant to cause. But when we look back now, nearly a century later, we see the film for what it truly was. A woman's awakening told with grace and courage, created by artists who dared to look beyond the boundaries of their time. Censorship is always afraid of what it can't control: the body, emotion, truth. Ecstasy wasn't dangerous because of what it showed. It was dangerous because of what it understood: that the female experience, desire, choice, liberation, is not obscene. It's sacred. And that perhaps was the real revolution. The reels of Ecstasy spin again today, flickering on museum walls, film festivals, and art houses. The same images once hidden in vaults now projected in light. The same scandal once whispered in outrage now discussed with reverence. The same woman once shamed now remembered as a genius. Time redeems what fear distorts. And in that redemption, Ecstasy has found its voice again. Delicate, defiant, eternal. In 1933, they called it obscene. In 2025, we call it beautiful. And maybe that's what Ecstasy really was. Not a scandal, not a sin, but a beginning. The moment cinema first dared to feel alive.